Wiley here on the My Favorite Things YouTube channel. Thanks for joining me today. In this month's edition of Sparkle and Shine, I am creating this adorable mermaid-inspired slider surprise card. Now, these slider surprise cards are so much fun because they can hold a gift card or a hidden message or a hidden scene, and they are so easy to put together. So I'm starting out with a piece of aqua cardstock. This is actually a textured cardstock. I really love to use textured cardstock in my card making. I think it adds just a little something extra. And I have the Cascading Scallop stencil here. Now, this stencil is currently out of stock, but if you go to the My Favorite Things website and you hit notify me, they will send you an email when it comes back in. Or you could alternatively use the mermaid tail background stamp for this as well. It might give you a little different look, but what I'm doing here is I have it secured in place over my turquoise cardstock, and I am using an ink dauber to apply some white pigment ink over the top. Now I'm kind of creating like almost like a triangle effect where my point is at the top. I am allowing the edges to kind of fade out, but I have the most intense ink at the bottom and I'm fading out kind of almost in a triangle towards the top. You see that pattern that I've created there? So I just added the ink until I was satisfied, and I went with a lighter hand in the areas that I wanted it to kind of fade out. And now I'm applying some glitter embossing powder. Now, you cannot have a mermaid card without a little bit or a whole lot of glitter, so I thought this would be the perfect opportunity, and since that pigment ink stays wet for a while, it's perfect for embossing. So I've applied that onto the pigment ink there, and I'm just heat setting that, and I'm going to get this gorgeous glittery scaled ombre finish. I just absolutely love the way this background turned out. I think this would be adorable for any type of card, but I'm going to use it for the card front of my Slider Surprise card. So I have the Slider Surprise Die-namic here, and this is new for June from the My Favorite Things June release. And I'm just kind of centering it up over the pattern, and I'm holding it in place with some purple tape. You could use some washi tape, whatever you prefer to use. And then I'm going to run it through my die cut machine to create the panel for the front of my card. Now, these interactive cards are super easy to put together, because you kind of just cut this and then you have pretty much everything that you need. I will add a couple things to it, but you're going to see here that this die creates 3 score lines. There is one at the very top here, there's one in the center, and then there's one very close to the bottom. Now, when you're folding these score lines, if you'll just make sure that that center score line is your mountain fold and those other score lines go away from it, you will have this folded perfectly. So you have the mountain fold in the center, and then the other 2 are going to go the opposite way, almost to where you're creating like an N shape or a U shape or a W, I don't know. You can decide whatever shape you want it to be, but that center crease line is the one that you want to be mountain folded. Now, just to add a little ombre, a little more ombre effect, I guess, to this card panel, I'm taking some Distress Oxide ink and peacock feathers, and I'm blending it from the bottom up into those scales. Now, that embossing powder will resist this ink, so I will still have my pattern there. I will still have all that glittery goodness, but this is just going to add to that ombre effect that I've created. Now, while I'm blending, I'm also going to take some Nina Solar White Heavyweight cardstock, and I'm blending on some worn lipstick and some mustard seed ink. Now, I'm not doing any special blending here, and obviously, I've sped this up to save some time because you've all seen ink blending, but I want to say that the key here is going over that center portion where those colors meet, back and forth between the 2 colors to kind of help blend those together. And once I have that blended pattern, I'm going to go ahead and run this through my die cut machine. I also have some heavyweight cardstock on the bottom, just some plain Nina Solar White heavyweight cardstock, and I am using it to die cut that skinny strip banner die, as well as this brand new Hello Die-namics, which I think is so much fun. And this Hello Die-namics also comes with the outliner, the shadow portion. I'm not using that today, I'm just using the main sentiment here. And I'm going to combine it with the Well Hello stamp set. And I love this sentiment that says, beautiful, gorgeous girl. So I'm just inking that up in some black pigment ink and stamping that onto my sentiment strip. And then I'm going to take the 3 Hello die cuts that I have here, and I'm going to stack them up to give them a little bit of dimension. And to do that, I'm just using my Zig 2-way glue pen. This is one of my favorite liquid adhesive. It dries so quickly. It's easy to work with, but I still have a little bit of playtime to kind of line these up. And when I place one on top of the other, I just kind of like to slide it into place and make sure everything's all good, especially those little tails at the end. I'm going to finish this off by adding a 3rd die cut to this stack. And these are all cut from heavyweight cardstock. If you're using a lighter weight cardstock, you may want to add 1 or 2 more layers just to give it a little bit more bulk. Another option for adding some dimension to these more delicate die cuts is to back your cardstock with a little bit of craft foam before you die cut it, and that will give it a little bit of dimension as well. Now I wanted to add a little bit of sparkle just along the bottom of this Hello die cut. So I'm just taking that ink dauber that already had ink on it, and I'm just kind of pressing it kind of unevenly along the bottom of this Hello die cut. And then I added more of that glitter embossing powder, and I'm heat setting that, and it's just going to give it a tiny bit of sparkle along the bottom of that die cut stack. Now it's time to assemble these, and what I'm going to do is just add some foam adhesive to the back of my sentiment strip. And I am going to add some liquid adhesive to this stacked up Hello die cut set here. And I'm going to place these onto that beautiful heart, which reminds me of a Hawaiian sunset. And I have to tell you, when this video goes live, I will be just getting back from Hawaii, and I'm trying to get to Hawaii right now, and everybody's been sick and we've had people in the hospital. So I think I'm dreaming of Hawaii and getting there. And so the mermaid and the Hawaiian sunset colors were definitely inspired from that. But don't worry, we're all good. We're going to make it. It's just been quite a week. So now I need one more piece, and I need a piece that is 3 1/4 by 4 1/2. And so I'm using heavyweight cardstock for this. You don't have to. This is going to create the pull tab portion of the slider card. So I'm going to take and I'm going to flip this main panel over, and I'm going to put some score tape right along that very bottom tab, that just right below the score line. I'm going to remove the backer, and I'm going to take this piece of cardstock that I've cut, and I'm going to line it up right with the bottom of that tab there. And I'm going to make sure that it's centered on the card panel. So once I have that placed, that will create my pull tab, and that creates the slider mechanism on my card. Now to put this onto my card, I wanted to make sure there was some dimension. So I'm just cutting some skinny strips of foam adhesive, and I'm going to make sure that when I put them along the sides of this, that they're not touching that white cardstock that's on the back. I don't want them to interfere with the sliding of the card. I just want to make sure that I give this some dimension. The dimension is going to make it easier to slide a gift card in there. You could definitely do this with some lower dimension adhesive, but I prefer a little bit of dimension behind it. And so what I just did was removed the backer and placed that onto my A2 top folding card base centered up. And then I have my interactive portion of the card. Now this heart, I'm going to go ahead and position onto that panel, the lower panel of this kind of slider mechanism. I want to make sure the tip of my heart is above that bottom score line, and I want to make sure there's only adhesive on the lower portion of my heart because I only want it stuck to that one panel. If it's stuck to the top panel, you're going to interfere with all this cool sliding part. But you can see here, it's just adhered to that bottom panel on the slider portion, and everything's working just fine. So I'm going to press that in place, and then I'm going to show you that this card is perfect for holding a gift card. You could also stamp a hidden scene in there or a message, or you could write your message. I went ahead and stamped that "From me to you" on the bottom. That was very dangerous to do once my card was put together. But I would stamp that beforehand, not after like I did. And then I slid a Bare Minerals gift card in there, and this makes for a really fun mermaid Hawaiian inspired card. I always love a good interactive card, and I love them even more when they're simple to put together, and this one definitely is, and you could decorate it any way that you want. I love this mermaid theme, and like I said, you can switch up the products and the colors to make this your own, and I think it's a fun card to put together for any occasion. As always, I will have links to the featured products used in this project in the description at YouTube, so be sure you check there if you're looking for something specific. Thanks for stopping by and watching today. I really hope you enjoyed this project. If you did, be sure to give this video a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to the My Favorite Things YouTube channel so you don't miss any of the fabulous card making and paper crafting video tutorials here. I'm so glad you stopped by and hung out with me today. Thanks for watching, and until next time, I hope you have a fabulous day.